Good evening, everyone, and once again, welcome to this lovely evening and the lovely session, which is one of the concluding sessions of the program that we launched for you. My name is Professor Abhayjeet Singh, and I'm one of the co-founders, and I'm the Chief Academic Officer at ImaginXP. We have been trying to curate such programs for the students as per their needs, ensuring one most important thing, which is employability, or something known as job readiness, because I and my team members, we strongly believe that we all are employable. We have that factor of employability as young professionals. And you know what is the good part? The good part is that you have plethora of opportunities due to technology, and learning is just a click away. I hope all of you will agree, right? In my life, if I have to take a major decision of changing my career, I believe you will agree that I can learn those skills quickly and easily. When I say easily, means the access to the skill becomes easy, and make it sure that I can land up into good job or a very good career opportunity. And hence this mantra, which I would like all of you to have in your heart and mind permanently, that I am 100% employable. That is the most important thought that you should give to yourself, and you can see the change, right? There are important factors. Past few weeks, you have been learning from our professionals to understand a lot of things of communication or interpersonal skills or group discussion or teamwork. And today I will conclude on why these are so important things in life, right? When I talk about career, when I talk about job readiness, this is actually related to our life and lifestyles. And hence, it is very important to understand that whatever we are learning or whatever we are gaining from this workshop or from this program is not just limited to appearing in interviews. It is actually about changing our life and lifestyle. I hope all of you will agree. And if you agree, you should raise your hands or write in chat box, right? Great. So very important, this program, these sessions, these learnings are not restricted for my interview preparation. This is to change my life and my lifestyle. And I'm 100% employable. Perfect. So with this, the theme for today's evening is job readiness. And before I start my presentation, the important things that I would like to talk about, which everybody knows about these things, that while we are either getting into a new career or changing our career or upgrading our career, along with pursuing the online studies that you have been doing, there are three, four very important nuances, very important pointers that we need to remember always. People were talking about interpersonal skills, people were talking about group discussions, but please tell me, why are these so important? Why do you think these are very important? एक ग्रुप डिस्कशन जैसी चीज को इतना वैल्यू क्यों दिया जाता है? What do you think is the reason?
सर मैं speak something.
Yes, Sonu.
सर जैसे ग्रुप डिस्कशन में बताया गया हमको कि जैसे एक रिक्रूटर हमको एक पॉइंट देता है और उसके हिसाब से बताने लगता है कि ये जस्ट लाइक सॉफ्टवेयर एक इमेजिन एक्स सॉफ्टवेयर है जिसके हिसाब से हम अपनी इंटरपर्सनल स्किल को डेवलप कर सकते हैं, जीडी को इम्प्रूव कर सकते हैं और अदर्स सीख सकते हैं. ठीक है सर. और एक पॉइंट को जब हम क्लियरली अपने हिसाब से अगर उनको रिक्रूटर को अपने हिसाब से आप अगर एक्सप्लेन कर रहे हो, उनको पता चलेगा कि आप में है कुछ चीज की आपको रिक्रूट कर सकते हैं या फिर उस जॉब पोजीशन के लिए वो आप अच्छे है इस हिसाब से.
Very good. So ultimately, I'll tell you what Sonu is trying to.
I actually add another thing. Hello.
Yes, please,
Hello.
please.
Actually, अभी जो जिन्होंने बताया it's absolutely correct. Just adding one point. From group discussion, हम लोग ना actually ये पाते कि जैसे I faced that हम दोनों का और भी एक कैंडिडेट था जिसका ग्रुप डिस्कशन हो रहा था मेरे ही साथ. तो एक्चुअली एक ऐसा पॉइंट पे क्वेश्चन आया जिसका आंसर हम दोनों को मालूम था, but she started first. So
Right.
after he ended his answer, I just said ki sir, she's absolutely correct, just adding 1 point. So the person who was sitting in front of me, he thought ना कि ये बंदा को मालूम है इन फ्यूचर अगर मेरे को 10 बंदा लेके मीटिंग करना है, so इसको मालूम है कि एक पॉइंट को कैसे प्रेजेंट करना है and when is the right time to present that point, which is very important sir. Sometimes क्या होता है ना कि हम लोग को मालूम होता है कि what I need to say, but when I need to say and where I need to say, ये हम लोग भूल जाते हैं. So ये हम लोग को help for the group discussion.
Super.
I failed that point in last 3.5 years, so I just explained that. Thank
Very
you.
good. Perfectly said. And one point to learn for everyone, that of course, we know what to speak, but if we know when to speak and how to present it, it's best. And when we are saying how to present it, one of the most important thing that matters is something known as, और ये शब्द आप सबने बहुत बार सुना है और बार बार अपने दिमाग में उस शब्द को आप लेकर आते हैं, जिसका नाम है कम्युनिकेशन, right? अब the irony is, it's a very simple word, but when we say communication skills, तो हम घबरा जाते हैं. How many of you agree?
Yes, sir. It is
All right.
Yes,
It's
sir.
an
Yes,
easy
sir.
Agree with
word.
you, sir.
It's an easy word, communication. Ultimately, life is about communication. Your work, your personal life, your friends and family, your workplace, your, studies that you do. Ultimately, it is about communication, and it is very simple. Today, what we are doing is a conversation, a communication. But when I add a word skills to it, and when I use this as communication skills, तो हम कहीं ना कहीं घबरा जाते हैं, जबकि पूरी जिंदगी हम क्या करते हैं? Communication. So the easiest word of our life is communication, right? The only thing that we need to understand is the right set of time, right set of moment on what to speak, when to speak, and how to speak. And though I can understand that for most of us, communication skills is equals to speaking in English, right?
No, sir.
But it's not 100% always true that best of the best English will get you,
Absolutely.
right? So I 100% agree, and I don't want to deviate your thoughts. If you're going for an interview, and if the person is, or the interviewer is focusing on English, then you have to speak in English. But that doesn't mean that you have to learn difficult words or mug up difficult sentences from the internet to impress anyone.
Yes, sir, definitely.
Right? So one of the way of talking to you guys to impress would be, hey, good evening, people. How are you guys doing? I hope you are hunky-dory. Just because I read on the internet that using hunky-dory would be like a very good communication. So that doesn't mean the part of English which is not my regular English, it's not necessary to use. The most important thing is how well, how easily can I convince you that I'm here to give an interview and make sure that for whatever profile you are recruiting me for, I'm going to be the best fit, right? Now, let me tell you one of the most important things why I'm focusing on communication. Because whatever degree you have been doing, whatever projects that you have been doing, whatever work experience that you have been doing. So for example, somebody must be a fresher, right? Just pursuing your master's, and you probably have no work experience, but probably you have 2 very good projects that you have written in your resume. Then there are few people in this call, in this session, who probably have a work experience, 5 years, 6 years, 10 years, 2 years, and they have real good work experience. They have done real good work in last 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, and that is also written in the CV, in the resume. Now tell me, if I have to select any of the two candidates, will I just look at resume and give my decision?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Absolutely no.
Communication plays a important role while selecting candidate.
So just because in resume, the fresher resume had 2 projects, which were very impressive, and the work experience person, of course, had work experience, which was impressive, I will not be able to conclude just because of resume, which is a very important part. Just because when a fresher is writing about their project, I get impressed, and hence resume is very important because that is the first
Impression.
interaction of you with the interviewer. So I have never seen Hitendra, for example, or Neha Mukherjee, or Kaushik, or Sonu. Probably I have never seen you guys. I have not met you. The only first interaction and impression of Hitendra, Kaushik, Sonu, Neha, or anyone on this in this session would be only through CV. But let me get back to you. I hope everybody agrees. It is not just because of CV that I get selected finally. It is going to be the game of exchanging words, communication. And there's a very beautiful story which is linked to it, which I would like to mention here. And this story is known by all of you. It's nothing new. I'm just recalling the instance of Lord Krishna while he was a child and he was eating mud. And when Maya Yashoda saw, and she asked him to open his mouth, and he opened his mouth, and what happened?
She saw the entire universe in him.
She saw the entire universe in Lord Krishna's mouth. Now, what is the conclusion of the story?
Everything is
it that
within you.
Lord Krishna was God? He wanted to prove that he was God. Is that the conclusion?
I have a different take, sir.
Yes,
Perhaps
please tell me.
perhaps it means that all answers are within you. You are the solution to most of the problems.
I'll give you one sentence for this. Your world lies in your words. So if somebody can also understand Hindi, आपकी दुनिया आपके मुख में बसती है. Your world lies in your words. Communication. Right? So if I start my session, example 1. Guys, what is this? I have been seeing your past performance. I'm really not satisfied. How do you think you are going to pass interviews? Is this the way we are planning the future? This is not done. I'm not going to take this session. I would really like to know my feedback for this.
No, sir. Actually, that is not the correct way. Sometimes, just you said, na ki, sir. Just repeat your question. I just couldn't hear you the last time.
I didn't get it. What question? I'm saying if I start my session in a very negative or an aggressive way, and it is the first communication that we are doing, and I just gave you an example that I'm shouting, what impression will you take?
Nobody can hear you.
Huh?
No, actually, this is just sir, just what you said. Na, this is not the correct way to communicate with a person. इससे आप एकदम first time मिल रहे हो, अगर ऐसा कोई उस पे impact पड़ जाएगा, सामने वाला जो भी होगा, so he will carry a negative personality of you.
That's true. The other way is that I'm sulking and I'm saying, okay, I think today we have a session on job readiness. Okay. So in job readiness, it is very important that you prepare for your interview. You should focus on English, start learning English, learn about technology, read newspaper, be good in group discussion. Thank you very much. How was the session?
People will get interested, sir. People will get interested to take that session.
Right. So ultimately, what I'm trying to tell you is when I communicate with the interviewer for the first time, it is only the power of my words and sound which is going to impact my life. It is not only about the interview. It is about the teamwork that you are going to do when you become part of any business or any job that you are going to do. You will have to work in teams, yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes, sir.
You will have to manage
Yes, sir.
different types of people with different types of backgrounds, with different types of nature. It is only the power of sound which is going to change things for you. At times, it will be probably English. At many times, it is going to be mixed English and Hindi. And at times, it can be Hindi or a vernacular language as well. Right? But the only
Yes,
thing
sir.
that will matter is going to be your communication. And from today, the definition of communication skills is going to change in your heart and mind, where you are going to say that, of course, communication is something that I have been doing day in and day out. Right? I hope everybody agrees to this. And with Lord Krishna's story, let us understand the sound energy is going to impact my entire life, is going to change my future forever. Wherever I go, 10 years down the line, 20 years down the line, 30 years down the line, it is going to be the power of communication which is going to become miracle for you. Right? You are probably, if you are doing some management course, let's say operations or product management or supply chain management, or if you are into IT, whatever the skill is, if it is just mentioned in your CV and you are not able to speak about it, do you think people are going to buy that? No.
No.
And hence, in your job readiness, the basic thing that you will have to understand, be it group works, be it group discussions, be it interpersonal skills, be it confidence, be it teamwork, be it anything, ultimately the power of communication is something which is here to stay with you and is going to define you and your lifestyle. I'm just going to share my screen and will show you some presentation where there are some points related to job readiness, which I wanted to discuss with all of you. I'll be happy to take questions at the end. Just a second. And let me know if you are able to see the presentation. Just a second. I hope it's visible.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, it is.
Yes,
Right.
sir.
So for job readiness, we are going to talk about the employability skill framework. What are those most important things that we need to ponder over, understand, and follow? Important thing, of course, first step is we need to crack the job, which means we need to crack the interviews. Second important thing is we need to be consistent and we need to give value to a job first for a few years, stay there at some time, take experience, learn new things, make sure that your resume is valued, and then you take growth in that job or in that particular skill. But how do you crack the job? What are the most important things that you need to understand is, just a second, these things. The 8-point framework, which is going to define your employability, consists of positive attitude, communication, teamwork, self-management, willingness to learn, problem solving, decision making, and resilience. Communication, I believe, at the start of this session with Lord Krishna's story, I'm sure everybody now understands what communication I'm talking about. Let us understand what is this positive attitude and why is it so important. See, in tough times, I'm sure last 2 years have been toughest times for mankind. And I hope everybody will agree to what we have seen in the pandemic, what we have seen in the lockdowns. But at the end of the day, even after all the hardships, I'm sure you will understand that the positive attitude is that humans have learned new things. Humans have become more patient to face challenges, to come up with solutions, to use technology and new age skills to make sure that we still move on and live best of our lives. It is very important for us to understand our highs and lows, the everyday situation that we face, but keep ourselves motivated for that goal, which is the most important goal of the life, which is getting into best career, right? So worst times, best output, mankind have been showing this thing in the history. There are many examples. One of my favorites is Steve Jobs. And if you know about Steve Jobs' story, I'm sure you also know that while he was becoming successful, he was thrown out of his own company, Apple, by the board just because they weren't on the same page on some decisions. But he hit back and became one of the best entrepreneurs, one of the best tech and design expert at the global level. And today we see Apple as a brand, which is no less than anything. I hope everybody agrees. And let us understand that while he was the most successful man, he
Because
started.
I think he has a habit of never give up, which is more
Yeah, that's
important.
what I'm saying. That's what I'm trying to explain. That it is very easy. जो screen के ऊपर लिखा है, whatever is written on the screen, it is very easy to write these points. But it is only these live examples which motivate us. How do you never give up? There are situations when I want to give up. There will be situations that when I don't want to give up, still the world is going to force me probably at times and make me feel low. But it is very important, and it is only your heart and mind, trust me, only your heart and mind which can push you back one step at a time, small steps at a time. And you will see these small steps getting bigger with bigger outputs. Communication, I have given many examples, and I believe it is very clear today that for all the people and professionals who are attending this session today, communication is going to become an easy task for all of you, and it is not a difficult word. Please say yes if you agree with me, with all the confidence.
Yes, sir. We do.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Super. Third most important thing for our job readiness, you know why people keep group discussions as part of the interview? It is not only for checking that out of, you will please mute yourself.
Guys, please mute yourself.
Thank you. So group discussion as part of your interview is not only to judge how quickly you respond in a group, how more active are you from others, or how good your English is, or how well you behave while answering in a group. One of the most important thing is, except these things, another important thing is they want to see every individual, how do they react when they sit in a team? What are their body languages? Are they becoming very aggressive? Are they not letting others speak? Or after speaking, they are giving others also some chance? Are they motivating others while they are also participating? There are many attributes. Just because every business in today's world, it is because of teams at various levels amongst same work experience amongst juniors and seniors who work together and come up with an output. Be it any profession, any industry, any work, from technology to design to business to management to any part of the business vertical that you speak about, it is teamwork which is going to either give best output or worst outputs. And hence, for us, it is very important because it is very tough at times to work in a team because there are people of different genders, cultures, thought process, backgrounds, and we cannot control that. Everybody has a different nature. I might be an aggressive person in a team. If you know how to handle me, you will be able to work better. If I know my negativities that I'm aggressive, and if I can learn how to control it, probably I can become a better team worker. And hence it is very important to involve ourselves into such tasks where we do some projects in teams, where we do tasks in teams. And hence, in a group discussion, whenever you prepare yourself, please do not prepare only for speaking. Please prepare yourself for working in a team that I speak and I give others chance to speak. I speak, and when others are speaking, I acknowledge that, right? Next important thing, very important thing is how do my persona means my character, my personification, or my overall impression or personality looks like to a person. And this personality is not restricted to your face or clothes, but it is related to the behavior, the action, the reaction, right? Of course, my clothing, my dressing sense, my how do I carry myself overall from tip to toe, they matter. But over and above, what matters is how do I react? How do I do my first conversation when I enter in an office? How do I behave when I'm new to the job? How open am I to settle in a new environment? Am I following the instruction or I'm just wanting to do things my way? And now, trust me, post pandemic, the new normal also says how responsible are you in terms of your own health and how do you care for others' well-being in an office space. It is very important to understand these very minute things which are observed today in corporates. Another most important thing which will take you to places, which will give you better growth, which will give you better opportunities, which will help you change professions easily in life is knowledge. So, since our childhood till today, we have been learning one sentence which is very common, which says, knowledge is power. Do you agree? Have you heard of
Yes,
this?
sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Such a common
Definitely.
Yes,
statement.
sir.
Such a common statement. But let me tell you, with all the experiences, whatever little experience that I have in my life, I would say this is like the Brahmastra. Whatever knowledge you can absorb in any way, in any form, whatever information that you can learn and absorb and reciprocate. It's not only learning, reciprocating, showing it, not showing off, but showing it, proving it to the world that I know, I'm aware, I understand, is something which is going to change things. And when I say this, it also means, suppose I'm an IT person, but I should have financial knowledge as well. Suppose I'm an MBA person, but I should know what is happening in AI, ML, and data sciences. These are information. Nobody is asking you to become master of everything. But these are very important things, because I hope you will agree that new aged businesses, new age jobs, they require you to become tech friendly, digital friendly. So information, knowledge, and skills are very important, and you should know for which thing, what kind of information and how much information is important for you. As young professionals, as budding professionals who are going to be the future for a lot of businesses, you really need to understand these things. If you can adapt to this important thing in life, it is actually going to become your habit. If you think that whatever I do in life, whatever career I choose, whatever little or big work that I do, it should help in solving problems, then things are going to become better for you. Have small plans. Understand what are the problem statements around you. If you are into a marketing business, there can be some problem statement of a client related to how to increase the, let's say, sales. If you are, sorry, if you are into, let's say, a product management job, how do you cater to the clients in a better way? There are questions everywhere, and you can always, businesses are re-evolving themselves months by months, years by years, solving problem to sorry, giving solutions to the problems of mankind. Again, my very uh, you know common example that I give to people is, because it is relatable to each one of us at global level. Pandemic, in the first lockdown, we all were in a question on how our lives are going to be in next few months. But very quickly, people came up with solutions of, you can get ration at home, you can get healthcare or medicines at home. There can be easy protocols. You can work in a particular fashion. You can go out of home in small. Please mute yourself. You can go out of home at the marketplace, let's say for 2 hours in the morning or 2 hours in the evening. There will be essential grocery shops which will be open. You can access bank in these particular hours for these services. Or there were digital solutions that if banks are not open and you don't want to go to bank or ATM because of the threat of COVID, you can do digital payments easily, or you can do shopping online, or there were a lot of engagements happening through social media. There were a lot of information gathering happening through social media. And hence, and of course, digital healthcare took birth during these 2 years of pandemic, that how healthcare services can be provided through digital platforms. Now, these were wicked problems, and groups of peoples and businesses were able to solve these problems by solutions. All happened when you start thinking with small little solutions, small little plans that you can implement in and around yourself. Most important thing, decision making. Again, this word looks very tough, right? But let me tell you, I'm talking about small things, small steps, small initiative of changing a pattern, improving a solution, taking small decision. Trust me, people, if you are going to see these things, that when I start taking small decisions for myself, for my betterment, for my work, at my job, at my workplace, I realize that in a month or 2 or 6 months, people are going to look at it, what big decisions you have taken. Though I took small steps, all these small steps are going to become a bigger step for yourself and for people around you. It is very important for you to think about small little things. It can be lifestyle. I want to change my lifestyle. I want to take a small decision of waking up early in the morning and practicing communication skills at least 15 minutes every day, every morning, or a small decision about uh, practicing group discussions every day. These initiatives will become practice within 15 to 20 days, and your lifestyle can change. Similarly, it happens when you go to a job, when you enter into a job, when you are new to the place, and if you can identify small little things and take small decisions and show it to the people around you, to seniors around you, they will see that you are already ready to take better opportunities. Another important part, how tough I am in situations. Like I said, the story of Steve Jobs. I don't know how many of you know, and if you know, please say yes, that Steve Jobs was not living with his real parents. The mother who gave birth to Steve Jobs, she was not married to the man, and both of them decided that we don't want the child, and they gave it to their some friends or family. And Steve Jobs got to know about this fact when he was 18 years or maybe 20 years old, while he was going to his college, high school, and he realized that the lady and the gentleman at home whom he thought were his parents, they were not his real parents. How tough a situation is this? And
Yes,
while
sir.
he was building Apple, somebody wants to say something?
Yes, sir. I haven't heard about this story. Thank you
Yeah,
for
so
sharing.
that's one of the facts.
Yes, yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
It,
sir. We
it
have
is
read
mentioned in the
about it.
autobiography, sir.
Yes. So second story, which I've already told you, that while he was on the success brim of Apple, the board of Apple threw him out of the Apple. But he came back. And while he was amongst the richest man, amongst one of the richest man in the world, he faced cancer. But if you see the overall lifestyle, you will see that all those tough situations, probably, of course, nothing is easy in the world, but appeared to be a little easy just because of the passion, just because of that energy. And trust me, I'm repeating my words. This all comes with self conversation. When I explain it to my heart and mind that I can do it, I will be able to do it. Only when I explain it to my heart and mind that I cannot do it, I cannot do it, I cannot do it, I will never be able to do it. So again, let us understand, in the world of pandemics, in the world of post-pandemic recoveries, there are a lot of challenges through which the globe is going through, be it the global warming and the unusual weather conditions, be it the war happening at two major countries of the world, be it pandemic and other situations through which the globe is going through, we all still are efficient enough to stand up and work for ourselves. I hope all of you agree that even in these worst situations, we wake up in the morning, we follow a schedule, we work hard for ourselves. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So the most important thing is, even when the challenges are going to become more tough, we are going to ensure that our output is still better and best. Now, for these, even if you have to seek support, there is no harm. At times, I feel कि किसी से पूछना अच्छा नहीं लगेगा. I won't feel good about asking help from someone or what will he think of myself? Nothing. Everybody is in a similar situation some or the other time in life. And hence, whenever you think you need to seek support, you should always seek support. You should accept your mistakes early and easily. Jitna jaldi, as soon as I realize my mistake, I should have courage to accept it and make it sure that it doesn't happen. These smaller tips are going to become very important tips for you to become 100% job ready. Because I'm sure all of you agree, I'm recollecting this information. I am 100% employable. I hope you are agreeing and saying this with me.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Perfect.
sir.
Perfect. With this, I would also like to share another information with you, because today, when we are talking about job readiness, we also need to be prepared that we are going to have three options in our jobs. One will be 100% offline. Second would be blended, maybe offline or work from home or at office. Or third will be total work from home. Yes or no?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Though,
Yes, sir.
though a lot of, is somebody saying something? Okay. Though a lot of organizations, of course, are again working offline, which is good. People are going to offices, but probably there will always be a scope. Sorry, there will always be a scope of either blended work mode. Blended means at times at office, at times at field, or at times at working from home. Or for very few professions, there are also options for permanent work from home, right? So whatever the situation be, we as new aged professionals, young professionals, we need to be prepared for all these situations. We need to be prepared for whatever the situation will be. I will be ethically working and ensuring work output, not only just because the company wants it, it is just because I would like to learn, unlearn, and again learn new things, get my resume, get my profile better, and ensure that there is no looking back in my career. I hope everybody agrees to that.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So another thing that I would like to share for with you is some guidelines to work from home. Just a second.
Sir, sorry to interrupt.
Yes, please.
My video has been disabled by the host. It has been 15.
Okay, just a second. Your name is?
My also. My also.
Okay. Let me check who's available from the admin side.
Rohan Vijay is the host.
Masmin man will be there, sir.
No, I'm not the host. I'm so sorry, but I'm not the host. We cannot unmute your.
I'll just check with
Rohan. Rohan is
one of the admins. Just a second.
So you can also do the same because you're a co-host.
Let me check.
Same problem with me, sir.
Sir, you may continue. It's not a big problem.
Yes, sir. We can continue.
I've just messaged
Yes, sir.
one of the.
We can continue.
Yeah, I've just messaged the admin and they'll get back, because from my settings, I'm not able to change it.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. You may continue, sir.
Just a second. I hope it is visible.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So these are very simple.
Yes, sir.
tips. In fact, see, in last 2 years, we all have learned all these things our own way. Whenever the work from home thing or sitting at home, learning at home started, there were no rules and regulations, right? We all learned our own way, and we came up with things which are very important for all of us. Because one thing that we have realized is that nothing can stop work, nothing can stop learning and education. And it is all thanks to technology that we are still able to communicate easily at any point of time, at any zone in the world, right? So it is very important today when you are learning, you are working professional and you are learning at the same time, it is very important to set up your own workspace. Now, when I say this, I'm not saying that everybody needs to have, big workstations and have, or invest a lot of money in making your space. A very small, uh, when I say your workspace can be your style workspace as well. Mine first included a very small corner in my room where I used to sit down and work on a small table with few very important things by my side, and a little away from distractions like the kitchen space or the living room space, so that if even the family members are there, I can just be a little away from them so that I can focus on things. So whatever the area that we have, it's really fine. Your workspace actually should be your designed in your own way. And I'm sure uh, it's not new to any one of us. I'm sure you people must have your own space now, which is actually just working as your own learning space or an office space at your home. If you are working from home since last 2 years, it is one of the most important thing. It is not just because what will office people think of, or if there are some noise at the background, what will happen. It is for yourself, it is for your own focus, which is very important that you have to understand. Next, very, very important thing, most important thing, and this is either offline, online, work from office, work from home, you are doing whatever. Life may, one of the most important things which I have learned is that it is very important to make notes. Now, note making also is not a very difficult task or an art where people think that notes means you have to write a lot. Even if you write down the most important terms instead of whole sentences, even that is note making. The 10 most important things that you learn from this seminar or webinar, even that is note making. Because then afterwards, taking reference from those important words, you can then do your research. But it is very important to understand the art of note making, and it should be your own art. There cannot be rules and regulations of note making, though there are suggestions available on internet. But I always believe that note making can be only done by my own way. At times, there are people, for them, doodling around or making drawings and making icons is also note making. Trust me. And they are very good at it. For some people, it is actually 1, 2, 3, 4 and detailed sentences. For some people, it is just juggling of words, important sentences, and they are done. So it is your own way, which if you refer even after 1 month, you should be able to understand. When we go to our college or to our office space, we have 70% of our day already planned, right? There is travel, there are meetings, there are things that we do in that time period, and then we come back. But if it is actually working and learning from home, and that too happening at the same time, it is very important to plan your day according to your own way. It can be super productive if I do my plannings. Now, again, when I say this, I never say that your timetable should be very tough. When I say tough means it should be super planned, just like the timetable that we used to follow in our school times. Not exactly hour by hour, minute by minute, but very important to understand 5 important things that you need to do in a day. Or you can always do tasks, task by task, where you can write must do, can do, should do. Things which are most important and you cannot miss in the day, things which should be there as part of your day, and things which you can do maybe by adjusting some time, and you wish to do those things, or you wish to start new things. Like we were saying that I would like to practice GD every day, I would like to practice English every day, I would like to, let's say, read newspaper every day, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. So few things are must, you cannot miss them. Few things should happen, you should not miss them. Few things you would like to add, and they can become part of your plan and lifestyles as you follow them regularly. Very important, you need to, your distractions very well, right? Everybody has a home, and it is obvious that with family members around, with people around, with people in society, there will be noises, there will be communication, there will be people around in the background, which is good, which is fine. It's really okay. I'm sure in last 2 years, you must have seen on social media how work from home bloopers happened. There are people walking in, there are pets walking in, and it's okay. It's okay. But how can you actually lessen your distraction from electronic gadgets or TV or other things is something which you need to redefine for yourself. Another very important thing, and this is my favorite thing to do, by the way, taking smaller breaks. I did a 45 minutes work continuously. I was focusing on a subject, I was focusing on a topic, I was learning something, I was, let's say, doing some office work with all my focus, and it got 100% right. Take a break, do walk, don't think about anything, just stroll around. If you are at home, give water to your plants, just do a quick chit chat with your parents, sibling, whatever, and come back. You will see your productivity going increasing. But when it is when I say small break, it actually means 5 minutes, right? I have already told you about this. In my last presentation also, I focused on this thing. And I really urge to people, and I request young professionals to please understand, at this age, we at times really feel that my question can be a little stupid, or what will that person think about me if I'm going to ask for a stupid help or this help or that question. Please do not hesitate. Like I said, please understand in your hearts and minds, everybody is sailing through some or the other difficult situation at some or the other point in time in life. So nobody is going to come back and say, why did you ask this stupid question to me? Or nobody is going to just, bash on you or will judge you for these things. So whenever, wherever, please speak up, and seek help. Ask questions. And the most important people around you can be your family members, your teachers, your mentors, or maybe your workspace friends and seniors. Another important thing, while we were talking about writing down important tasks, if you can maintain a diary where you write your can do, must do, should do tasks, you can start writing of the level which you have achieved in your must do tasks, in your can do tasks, and in your should do tasks. So, for example, I wrote that I should start exercising 20 minutes 3 times a week. Now, after 10 days, if I write down the progress, I will be able to judge myself that I was good at it, I was average, it was a good start, I should continue, or I need more energy to start it. If you're going to do that in your office tasks and in your learning tasks, you see how things become easy for yourself. Yes, we know this thing. It is not at all an impossible task to work from home or to learn from home. It is achievable. You are able to interact with various types of people. Today, we don't have to meet in person, but we are super connected and we will always be. We can do all sort of communication. We can discuss all sort of questions and we can work through a journey where we can come to a conclusion or we can achieve the projections that we have thought in our mind. And hence, let us understand that in this new age world, when I say new age world means how the new normal in post pandemic is changing the lifestyles, is changing the thought process, is changing the way people communicate with each other, is changing how businesses of the world are changing their own way they function their business. So agar koi company, if these companies or big global giants of the world are changing their strategies, then it is very important for you who are going to work for them to change your strategy as well. And hence it is important to understand these points. I really hope I was able to contribute something today. The most important thing as a thumb rule, which I want to tell you again is 2-3 important things. Communication is easy. I do it day and night. I'm 100% employable. I'm going to bring that change with small little steps each day, each week, and ensure my success. I want a big yes from each one of you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Definitely.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, will do.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Definitely we will do.
Super.
Yes,
So
sir.
God bless you all. And if there are any questions, I would love to answer them.
Can I say something?
Yes, please.
Sir, can you tell me about ImaginXP? I don't know anything about that, sir.
Okay. So we are an edtech company, education technology company, and we are into future skills for students at universities, colleges, for young professionals like you who are either into these distance learning programs or executive programs, or are working professionals working in the industry full time and they want to upgrade themselves into future skills, into businesses, into technology, into design. There are a lot of, and of course, these programs like placement orientations to ensure employability. Our mantra is to ensure that the skills that we impart to these students make them 100% employable. That's the most important thing. And the team that we have amongst us, Pallavi and the other members that you have interacted with, Kshitij and his team, they are actually going to work more on the campus drives, the placement interviews for you, and we are going to ensure that we are going to gain those results which is expected out of these programs. So we are working on future skills. We are working on building up the future of a country like India, the young professionals who should understand the nuances of not only the technology or design or the hard skills, but the importance of soft skills as well.
Sir, I have one question.
Yes, please.
When interview asks us ki how much you expect from us in salary package, right? So what to answer at that time?
See, today, this answer is very easy. I'll tell you why. If there is a company which is going to come for your interview, I'm sure you already know that 2 days, 3 days, 4 days before the interview. You should always do your research on the internet and you will get the range of packages that that company offers. Now, if you are a fresher, you should be very reasonable in asking a package. And if you are a work experience holder, then you should check on the internet on what is the salary packages being offered by that particular company for that work experience in that particular domain. And accordingly, you should negotiate. And no figure is a wrong figure if it is not very unreasonable, right?
Okay, sir. Okay. Yeah, got it.
So there's one question I want to ask.
Yes, please.
Sir, when your presentation, you mentioned something about unlearning. Can you just explain more about it, sir?
Yeah, I'll tell you. I always say it to my students. Learning and unlearning go hand in hand. And when I say unlearning, the very simple thing about unlearning is what happens at times that there are pre-notions or thought processes which I have before taking any experience. But when I start taking an experience or when I start a new job, I figure out that there are few things which I learned in the past but are of no use.
Yes.
We need to unlearn those things. We need to remove those things from our mind so that I can get that space to learn new things.
Okay, sir.
Right? So, for example, I'll tell you, it usually happens that I have pre-notions in my mind. That particular organization, while I was asking few people on the internet, they told me that they don't give leaves easily. It is going to be a very difficult environment to work in. Suppose I learned this from someone, and with this knowledge or information in my mind, I go and start working. But very soon in 15 days, I realize, no, this is not the fact. This was a rumor. I need to unlearn those things which are not at all important for me. And this will go at every stage of life.
Yes.
Right? Unlearning is very important to learn new things.
Okay.
Sir, may I?
Yes, please.
Sir, first of all, thank you for this amazing session.
Pleasure. Anytime.
Okay, sir, my question is, in an introduction, is it always mandatory to express my hobbies, my strengths, and short-term goal and long-term goal?
Yeah, see, introduction has a pattern. There is no doubt about it. But again, let me tell you, if I mug up my introduction, I will always get confused.
Okay.
Right? For example, in today's session, I'll say that Shrikant, Abhayjeet, Akshata, Shivam, Hitendra, Rohit, the only way to give your introduction is start with your name, then with your profession, then with your father's name, then with your mother's name, then talk about your skills, then talk about your hobbies, then talk about your goals in life. 7 things you should always remember. Please do not forget. Now, what will happen is this is going to become a pressure for you.
Yes, yes.
Though these 7 things are important, but please trust me that an interviewer is not a robot which is going to say, point number 3, pay father's name, kaise bol diya? Wrong. Please go home. Right? It will never happen like this. It depends from situation to situation. Usually, people generally ask tell me something about yourself. Now, this is an open ground question where I can speak anything, but let me tell you, speak whatever you feel appropriate during the interaction is going on.
Okay, so including my hobbies and short-term goals.
Maybe I don't talk about, see, goals are something which you should say, but make it realistic. Again, don't use such sentences. My if I check Google, there will be some suggestive words which Google will tell you. If you're going to mug that up and say, my short-term goal is this, but in long term, I want to be a digital entrepreneur and change the $1 million economy of this company, of this country, right? The next question that you are going to get it, please explain this goal of yours.
Sir, and what about the weaknesses?
If they ask personally, I believe you need not talk about weaknesses, but if they ask, again, I'm telling you, internet is going to suggest you talk about those weaknesses which look like strengths.
Strengths, exactly.
Don't do that. I mean, if you have that power of speaking, go ahead, but please do not take those words and learn. Focus on your own weakness and speak it in your own language with a solution. That is important. So for example, let's say if I say that I get demotivated very easily, suppose this is my weakness. So you can say, sir, though one of my weaknesses is, and I will be very truthful with you, that I become demotivated very easily. But in the past few months, I have realized that when I talk to few people who have a positive influence in my life, I'm able to recover this phase. Right? This is the way you present it.
Okay.
Yeah. So may I speak?
Yes, please.
So please tell about the campus drive which we held on 26th April.
For that information, Pallavi or someone from the team will get back to you because I have right now I don't have idea of the schedule, but there are some plannings which have been happening, and someone from the team will get back to you, and you'll receive an email also.
Yes, sir, thanks.
Yeah.
So, I had a question.
Yes, please.
So, in corporate situation, when sometimes we ask some questions to our seniors, and sometimes we get judged, and so what should we do? Like, how should we react? Should we laugh it out, or how should we react to the judgment?
Now I'll tell you, getting judged by someone who you think, please mute yourself. There are two ways. At times, if you are being judged by someone who's your real mentor, people, you will have to mute yourself. If you are getting judged by someone who's really a mentor to you, that judgment is going to help you because that is going to be a feedback, right? But if you think that someone is judging you just because they are senior and they have just a little impact in your life, it's okay to take their judgment and then self-ponder, do self-analysis, whether was he or she right or wrong. That's it. That's what I wanted to, mention when I say seek help, ask questions. The reason is, that's what I feel. You young professionals take this judgmental thing very seriously. Please do not sector it.
Yeah.
Somebody who is a friend and a mentor, if he or she is judging you, then that's a feedback. But if a random person is judging you, please digest it and take it out from your body. It cannot impact your life. Always remember one thing. I'm telling you guys, take this as a mantra. Only your heart and mind is going to either take you to heights or get you to lows. That's it.
Thank you, sir. That was great. It was really insightful.
Sir, I want to
Yes,
ask one
please.
question, sir.
Yes, please.
Sir, what will your advice for the fresher to get the job?
For fresher, I would say your opportunities in today's world are superb. Like I said, just because learning doesn't stop, you can learn a lot of new things. You can get into new skills easily today online. Good part is that you don't have to be a quick decision maker. If I go into one profession and 1 year, 2 years, I feel that I don't want this and I want to shift, you have all the best time in your life to do that, to upskill yourself and change your profession. But to enter into a job, it is very, like I said, for a fresher, just because you don't have a work experience, the only thing that will work for you is your skill and how do you prove it through your communication.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Sir, I have one more.
Yes.
Sir, if you are experienced in one particular domain or sector for around 10 years and you decide to change your field, then you will. It's bound to happen that you're going to be facing some uncomfortable questions in the interview. How do you face them, sir?
Uncomfortable questions?
It's like if you're experienced in IT for around 10 years and you've done MBA in finance and you want to move towards finance sector, if you are asked in the interview that why do you want to change to finance, how can any candidate?
It is one of the easiest things to do today, just because I'll tell you, technology is everywhere. So when technology amalgamates with finance, it becomes fintech.
Yes, sir.
So you can always say the strength that I bring to financial sector is going to be a boom for your organization.
Okay,
right? So
Right.
my financial knowledge, when adds to technology, I can give you solutions in these 5 things. Then of course you have to study those 5 important things that in fintech industry, there is an ask for this. In fintech startups or cryptocurrency or Bitcoin, they are talking about these 4 factors. And I come with that relevant experience of 10 years. Now with finance as an add-on, I am the best solution for your organization.
Yes, sir. And there's just one last question, sir. Can I ask one final question?
Yes.
You mentioned something about unlearning. Are there going to be any kind of exercises would you like to mention to unlearn anything, sir? Because it seems to be the hardest thing for someone like me to do.
No, I'll tell you, unlearning is the easiest thing to do. And though there are no fixed exercise, but let me try. I'll make some exercise and discuss with my curriculum team, and maybe I'll give some tips and tricks for that. You guys are on the mobile app, right?
Yes, sir.
On my coach app, you guys are there.
Yes, sir.
So maybe I'll upload some content there for that. But trust me, unlearning is the easiest thing because, see, I'll tell you, like I gave you an example. When I enter into a phase, I realized कि जो 4 चीजें मैं सोच रहा था, the 4 things that I was thinking about, or the information that I always had in my mind was incorrect. ऐसा तो हो ही नहीं रहा है. And unlearning is as simple as thinking, oh, this was just a rumor. Let's go ahead. Or for example, let me tell you, for people like us who we studied BTech in 2001 when computer science was a little new to a country like India, and we used to still undergo a curriculum. I'm sure most of you must have gone. If you have studied engineering, you also studied electrical engineering. You also
Yes, sir.
studied mechanical engineering. You did lathe machine, and it had nothing to do for your life. Nothing actually.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Right? So when you got the IT job, you very quickly unlearned. And today, I'm sure if you have passed out your engineering 10 years back, I'm sure you don't know how a lathe machine works. That is unlearning.
Yes, sir.
It's very important. Now, the unlearning process is, again, with passing time and technology, unlearning process is quick because we are consuming a lot of information every day, a lot of information. But tomorrow, whether that information is going to be relevant for me or not is something that I need to ponder over, and hence learn, unlearn goes hand in hand.
Yes. Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot. That's
All
it.
right,
That's
guys.
all from my side, sir.
You can write your questions on my coach app. You can email it to us and we'll get back to you. And all the best. God bless you all. Wish you Godspeed. And I'm telling you, you have plethora of opportunities. The mantras which we talked about, please do remember. And I'll see you soon.
Yes, sir.
Thank
you
you,
for the
sir.
precious time.
Thank you, sir.
Take care.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
sir.